I loves me some 1 degree of Chunky B.
Now, I just have to make a comment about Chunky B. Have you ever seen him looking so good?
The panel then includes actress Lady Kazan, comedian Chunky B, and Playboy TV host Julie Strain. Chunky?
What was the question? Ladies and gentlemen, just look at me. Look at my face. Come on in. Come on into the Garage of Love. This is 1 degree of Chunky B, and I know you dialed into chunkyb.tv. And whoever you are, watching and listening, keep it up. Passing the good word. Our numbers keep growing.
That's the thing.
Yeah. And before I even go any further, can't do it without the executive producer of Love. Please go by, say hello to the man that goes by the name of Gary Adler.
Thanks, Chunky. Thanks for the warm welcome. That was electric.
Is that the kind of mood you're in already?
But seriously,
Is that the mood?
if you're going to go to Amazon, Andy, and you're going to shop,
Yeah.
you go to www.chunkyb.tv,
Yeah.
hit the Amazon button, right?
And go shopping.
Yeah, the show gets a little piece.
Yeah.
It costs you nothing.
Exactly.
And that's
And
what
here's
we're
the deal.
talking
So I'm having dinner last night at Natalie Ty on Venice Boulevard.
Right.
And there's like 8 of us sitting there chit-chatting. And the guy starts talking about how he shops on Amazon. And everyone's like, I do too. I go, dudes and dudesses.
Yeah.
Just go to chunkyb.tv and do some shopping through us.
And now we can afford the Manimal some raw meat.
Yes. Andy Davey, come on now. Right here. Switching the knobs. And
Look at him.
I still don't get the Manimal thing.
Look at him.
Wait, so what was our new mating call? What was
Oh,
our
Andy.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now I'm interested.
There
Good
we
to
go.
see you. Once again, always like to give a little bit to Travis, the Wizard of the Knobs out there in the desert, still finding himself.
That's right.
Okay, let's talk podcast. Let's talk. We have got, and look me in the eye, people, and I'm not even kidding. We've got one of the most cool. We've got by far one of the coolest human beings known to mankind.
American Badass.
Yeah, yes, American Badass is a great way to say it.
.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, AmericanBadass.com.
Let's just show America who we're talking
Appreciate
about.
the website.
All right, Heath Evans, everybody.
Yes.
Heath Evans,
NFL football player.
NFL stud. Can we
Yeah.
just call you?
And you just completely overhyped me. Now your ratings are going to plummet after they
Don't
hear
worry,
me
we'll
talk.
get to that
Nice
part
job.
too. We'll get to that part too. We read your Wikipedia.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, Heath. First of all, I'm thanking you, and I've been thanking you for the last 2 weeks. As soon as you said yes, I'll be coming to the Garage of Love.
Man, I love it.
Can I just set the table for a second? Now, about a couple of years ago, I slide into
He
the
set the table at that Thai restaurant last night without an invite for
That's
me.
right. I'm sure he didn't pick up the tab
That's
either.
kind of odd.
I know he didn't pick up the tab.
No.
So listen, I get dialed in over the NFL, right? I'm shooting camera, loving it. I'm getting to meet some really good people. I connect with Heath, and I tell him about the podcast, and I don't know if I'm supposed to break the ice or whatever. Boom, the guy without hesitation goes, "I want to be on your podcast."
Oh, nice.
So we set the time up, boom, and we're doing it right now. And if I'm a little nervous, it's because I thought I knew Heath. But then when you start to ask people questions and the onion starts to unfold,
Right.
we got an
It's
American
a stinky
Badass.
onion.
It's a stinky onion.
Okay,
And at times will make you cry. That's
Right.
what I understand.
Right.
We're going to get to that.
so oh
You're
god.
going to tear up tonight.
But check this out. If we're gonna be hopping around, but Heath's got so much on his resume and his whole life.
Break down a little bit of the background. Maybe
Okay.
Heath can do that for us.
You know something? Why don't you? Yeah, you
Most of the
guys,
stuff's made up. I just made it up to sound good on the Wikipedia page.
It sounded good, man.
I didn't write it because it would have been misspelled. But
You would probably achieve some goals that you set for yourself early on, and that might have amazed you a little bit, right?
I don't know. I was the idiot 4-year-old. My dad's lawyer walked in the house and said, "Hey, what are you gonna do when you grow up?" I said, "I'm gonna play in the NFL." And I remember my dad's lawyer looking at my dad and be like, "Oh, he has no clue how hard it is." And I remember him kind of like mumbling the words, and he had played ball at Northwestern and all that stuff.
Right.
And I was like, "Yeah." Just kind of went back to my room, started playing with my Legos or whatever. But it was just always something that I wanted to do and set goals accordingly, and somehow made it.
and this is why I want to break it down. People, if you're listening or watching, Heath Evans played football from 2001 to 2010-ish.
Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah. And retired with a ring.
Yep.
which is an unbelievable
Yeah.
stat in
Yeah, no,
itself.
not a Super Bowl ring. It was one of those.
He got from the government.
Right. I pawned it off to someone else.
But you grew up in Florida.
Yep, Palm Beach.
Palm
It was a
Beach.
rough. It's a rough life. It was a rough hood I grew up in.
Are you serious, or did you folks
Yeah.
have money? No, they had money. You were
Have
rich
you been to Palm Beach?
Yeah, I know. I was going to say
We don't have a rough hood down there.
Aventura is rough compared to Palm
exactly.
Beach.
Right. No, but Palm Beach. I mean, did you go to like your high school was it private?
I went to a private Christian school that they only allowed me to go there because of sports.
Really.
Wow.
I don't know about that, but that's what I tell people. It's much more interesting than the real story.
Was it a big?
For a
sports?
private school, yeah. Sports, no. It was a big choral and fine arts.
Okay.
They loved the band, and they fully supported the band. The football program, not so much.
Really?
We tried to get it turned around, though.
No. When you went to that school and you did,
He
you
is
were playing.
nervous. He's stumbling all over.
Oh, I
his
know.
head.
Yeah,
but
no,
that's,
no,
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 that's not.
That's
is that
him.
normal?
That's just him.
Yeah, that's me.
Is
That's
that why
me.
the camera? He's
Yeah.
always shooting me on shakes.
Hey, listen, this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good one. That's not my fault. That's not my fault. Notice? Did you notice when you were in high school that you were above and beyond?
Well, I went to a private Christian school with a bunch of white kids. So when in 8th grade, I realized I was a bunch of above and beyond. But then I'd go to the local park and play with all the real athletes and be like, oh, I better get my crap together. So
But you went to Auburn.
yeah,
I mean, that's a huge institution for football and academics.
yeah. Listen, I think I knew early on that I had a gift. My dad spotted it before I did. Came to me when I was 14 and said, hey, listen, I think I'd be a bum dad if I didn't help you reach your goals. You've made it very clear you want to play in the NFL. So if I'm going to be the dad I'm supposed to be, I don't know everything about football, but I know I can make you fast and strong. So if you're serious, I want you basically to sign this contract that you'll do what I tell you to do. And you put your name to it. I'm going to show you the power of signing a contract and your word. And I don't want any ifs, ands, or buts, no whining or complaining, but just know this is going to be hard. And it's going to be
like if I'm in,
Yeah.
you're in.
yeah,
Like more
and
than
so
me.
I kind of signed my life away to my dad when I was 14, and
Wow.
we spent right after my freshman year. I played 2 games on JV my freshman year, hurt too many kids, and so they moved me up to varsity. And that's a true story. I didn't make that part up.
Yeah.
It's cracking skulls, and they're like, "Get that kid out of here!" So they moved me to varsity, and had a good year on varsity. Then my dad, after that, I went from 165 to 195 during basketball season of my freshman year. My dad was stuffing my face. We were working out like crazy. Didn't grow a bit in height that year, but got big and fast, and then it just kind of kept grinding all the way through and ended up going to Auburn.
What'd your dad do for a living?
Builds homes, but he got that mean, nasty streak in the Marine Corps. So he was the less fortunate of twin brothers. He kind of got the runt end of the genetic gene pool. And so his brother Brent was just the big, bad, tough guy. Dad always wanted to be like his brother. Checked into the Marines, found a drill instructor that kind of just really kind of grew to admire my dad, taught my dad how to lift and get strong and fast. Came out of the Marine Corps. He was the real bad boy. My pops was about 220, benching 500 pounds, squatting the world, strong dude. So he taught me all that stuff and let the football coaches teach me football.
Did he ever tell you he loved you?
Oh, all the time. My dad is
you go.
hands-on, in your face, but loving and kind and, chew you out. He
That's
was
great.
He was the daddy version of Bill Belichick.
It's rare, though. It's rare to get both.
Yeah, jump your gut, but then love you up when you need it.
And did you see that comparison?
Yeah, with
I
Bill.
mean, you felt it?
I just think Pops raised me. I had thick skin. And a lot of people don't like Belichick because he's going to ride you hard. But he's going to ride Tom Brady hard. And then he's going to ride the 53rd man on the roster and then the middle guy on the roster like I was. And there's an expectation where everything Bill's telling you, it's for your good and the good of the team. Yeah. And I always felt like, I don't know where the trust relationship set in with my dad. But from early on, I kind of realized everything. I mean, like true story. I mean, my freshman and sophomore year when I was having to eat like literally 8 meals a day and literally 10,000 calories a day, I mean, my dad would feed me things that would make a billy goat puke. I would go to bed without having my last meal at night, and he'd let me get in bed, turn the lights off under the covers, and then he would yell upstairs, "Heath, don't worry, just go on and go to bed, buddy. That kid down the street, he'll get your scholarship to Florida State. It's okay. Just go to bed, Heath. It's fine. Don't worry about it. These burgers down here, you don't need these burgers. You don't need this extra protein. You're good enough. Don't worry about it. Just go on to bed." So that was, but I always kind of knew that, and I'd be grumbling and just oh, what a jerk. But I just knew. And my mom, people from church and school, they thought my dad like, oh, he's too hard. But my dad knew what he was doing, and it worked because I had a strong skill set for a white boy my size, but it wouldn't have been enough without my dad's kicking the butt and discipline.
Did
that he
you
drove
play
in.
Pop Warner?
Yeah, I started playing when I was 4 and loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Right.
And was addicted from day one. I loved basketball, but my basketball kind of looked like football, so I knew real quick that wasn't going to be a career for me. So
I can see you coming down the lane. I would just get the heck out of the way.
no, that's kind of what happened. And then the few that, decided to take a charge, they ended their high school basketball career. So
Florida puts out some good football players, man.
the best.
Yeah, no doubt.
Southern Cal, Florida, Texas.
I want to talk more about fatherhood. You've got two daughters.
Yeah.
One's here on the couch in the garage.
That's the one that hates me.
Yeah, and we're gonna Ava, right? Ava, come over and give your daddy a hug so we can everybody in America see how cute you are. Okay, look into this camera.
My beautiful twin.
Yeah.
I hope I was going to be a good-looking girl.
Thank you for being here. Hey, I want you to talk to the microphone. How awesome is your dad?
He's good, but he's really tough.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. Now, have you gone skiing with him? Do you ski?
Yeah.
Are you a skier or snowboarder?
Skier.
Really awesome. Now, did she get to go to Deer?
Oh, yeah.
Deer
We all
Park
went.
or Deer
Yep.
Deer Valley?
Deer Valley, yep.
Yeah.
It's my second time skiing. So.
Oh, all right,
Yep.
all right.
We had fun.
But I bet you learn fast when you're on a beautiful mountain like that.
She,
I skied at Blue.
yeah.
Yeah.
She, and those blues, so she skied once before this, and within 2 days, we had her going down one of the blues there in Deer Valley, which is one of the more aggressive mountains in the country.
Yeah.
So,
All right, you get back on that couch.
beat it, little
How
girl.
cute is she?
Ava.
Unbelievable.
Nice.
But see the fatherhood thing, and Gary has got an athlete that everybody in this town sees potential, but
It's not golf, is it?
no, it's like, that's not, he's
I can't
surf-
help him in golf.
As a matter of fact, the shirt you're wearing is one of his son's sponsors. Yeah, so he's a surfer.
Okay, I need some. Hurley, you see this?
Yeah.
I had to buy this.
Well, yeah, give it a minute. He's going to be having a lot of.
Yeah, but listen, don't sell yourself short.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Jack.
I got
okay?
a 15-year-old
You
son.
talked about
Yeah.
your JV, you moving up to varsity.
Yeah.
He's a freshman, never played football before, made the varsity roster
As a
Wow.
tight end. As a tight
As a
end.
tight end.
Okay.
And I was hoping that he was going to. Now he's playing lacrosse, and he's second on a team in scoring, and he's a freshman on varsity. He's
Wow.
a great athlete.
He's a beast.
But I don't know how much pressure to put on him.
Sign
to
a
make
contract.
Him, sign a
Sign a
What a great
contract.
idea.
I'm gonna do the contract as soon as I get home.
I swear.
Listen, we grew up in the laziest society ever. Our forefathers would roll over in their graves if
Yeah.
they saw the kids and how our parents raised us. There's very few real men anymore. There's not young ladies that know how to drive themselves through emotional struggles, and men. Everybody's the here and now society. What do I want? They look at the here and now instead of what's the longevity. What's
Instant
the future.
gratification is what the kids are all about.
And it starts with the parents. And so, listen, she said I'm hard. I'm far from perfect. My dad was a lot harder on me than I am on them.
Right,
You know,
right.
and it's different. I mean, there's just different challenges that I faced that my mom and dad didn't. My mom and dad are still together after 40 plus years. You know, I'm
Yep.
doing the best I can as a single father, and I have them probably the majority of the time. But there's different challenges that I now face that my mom and dad didn't have to face. So it's a battle, but the structure, discipline aspect, it's irreplaceable.
But how did your dad know not to push too hard? Because you could have crumbled and
Oh
said,
no!
F it, I'm not doing
Yeah, he
this.
pushed too hard.
Yeah, but he had the mental capacity as a kid,
Right.
to try and go on the
But
program.
his dad was somehow aware of that, right?
Yeah, I just think, there was no exact science to it.
Right.
There was the nitty gritty that comes out of me with my passion when we start talking ball at the network.
Right.
Like there was that nitty gritty in me from a young age that didn't want to get beat, didn't want to let people down, didn't want to disappoint, wanted to be the baddest, toughest dude. But Dad always balanced stuff. Like, most rough, tough football players grow up to be the stupid bully. Well, my dad was different. He raised me to be the bully to the bully. You
Right.
better defend the less fortunate. If someone's ever getting picked on that can't defend themselves, Heath, you can get suspended from school for beating up a bully or protecting your sister. Those are the only two things.
Here we go.
And so,
Here we go.
Yeah.
like Dad just had this strong balance of, I love you. So it's the old, I'm going to spank you. This is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Now I believe that talk because it does. Like, you don't want to discipline your girls.
Right.
And they're of the age now where I don't have to spank them anymore. But the truth is like Dad always balanced this. Heath, like, listen, I wouldn't be being the father. I'm supposed to raise you to be a man, right? And if your goals as a man is to play in the NFL, there's hardcore steps you got to take now. And so whether it's surfing or football or lacrosse or whatever, like my dad knew nothing about football. His mom would never let him play because he was the frail of the twins. But he said, here's what I can do. I can teach you this, this, and this, you know?
That's good.
And so for you guys, listen, I know a lot of conditioning goes into surfing. So there's a lot of stuff that off the board that your son can be doing to better him in the surfing career. Lacrosse, I honestly hate the sport because I feel like it strips guys too lean for football. But I'm kidding. But with football, like I'll be your son's best friend. And you know what? I can be the guy when you push him a little too hard, he can pick up the phone and call me and be like, Heath, man, Dad's just all over me. I'm like, well, he loves you. Get back to work. I don't want to hear you whining and complaining. and here's the thing. And so
He's got a sponsor.
Yes, I've got little kids. I mean, you know, Emmanuel Lemire just signed a huge free agency contract with the Minnesota Vikings. This kid and his twin brother Samuel, who's with Derek Brooks's arena team down in Tampa, came to me at the end of their senior year and said, Heath, we'll do whatever you tell us to do. They went to my high school, right? Whatever you tell us to do. Well, I did the same thing. I had him talk to my dad first. Hey, just so you know what you're getting ready to get into, you need to talk to my dad about what he did to me and to see if you're going to sign up for this. My only rule is you just never quit. You can miss your time. You can fail on a rep. You might not be able to get your reps, whatever it is. But if you ever quit, you're never allowed to come back. So if you quit on a sprint, if you quit and you don't finish a workout, you're just not allowed to come back. That's my only rule. You just never quit. And so these kids got in. Now fast forward 7-8 years. You know, Emmanuel is now a multimillionaire. And he had a lot of talent, but the kid had a nasty work ethic to him that he just wanted to be tapped into. I tapped into him. Samuel, his brother's the same thing. I love training kids. So now, like you and I, we tag team your son. If he can really play. And the good thing about your son is I'll always shoot him straight. I have people call me all over the country, hey, can my boy play? And you got to have that tough conversation with him. I looked at his tape, and the tape says he's a D3 player. The tape says right now he might be a D1, but we got to work on X, Y, and Z. And then there's the awkward conversation where you're like, your son's living a pipe dream. And no pun intended, you know. But you can't.
Well, when Jack walks in and he looks up at the 14-year-old, he goes,
he's that big, huh?
He's a big, he's getting there.
Well, let me get my hands on him.
Oh my God! Okay, let's remember this conversation. We got it.
No, listen, listen. If he'll work, I love and Ava will tell you. We've had so many kids. Got another kid that's went to Auburn, graduated in 2.5 years. Now he's down at Miami doing his master's degree, playing for Coach Richt. Everyone in the world said he couldn't play. He started at Auburn, and now he's starting at Miami.
Let's talk about Auburn. Why did you pick that school? Because you probably had a couple choices, right?
They were basically them and Syracuse were the only ones that I believed that were really going to let me stay in the offensive side of the ball in a running back position. Everyone else wanted to recruit me at linebacker. Bobby Bowden and Mark Richt sat in my living room 2 weeks before signing day my senior year and said, hey, you know, Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator at Florida State, we're gonna put you at linebacker. And I said, no, you're not. No. Bye. You know?
No, do you think
that's too bad.
Yeah,
because I'm an FSU alum.
And I still bleed garnet and gold. I like Florida State more than I like Auburn these days. You know, so.
Right. Do you think you came right as the fullback was starting to not have so much pizzazz in the NFL? Were you the last of the Mohicans as far as?
It's funny. I mean, you know, like you look at 2 years ago, and obviously the Broncos won the Super Bowl this year and, you know, didn't feature a fullback. But you go back to last year, you know, 7 of the final 8 teams had a fullback that played significant snaps, 25-30% of the snaps. And so people always want to say this game's changing. Yeah. It is for the dumb teams. But the hard-nosed, tough teams that win it every year, they're still have a guy on their roster that can blow open holes. Mike Robb, another one of our boys at the network. You know, ask Marshawn Lynch what happened to that offense as soon as Mike retired, and they didn't replace him with as equal of an athletic fullback that can see and do the things he does.
Same with the tight end position. Like I see that sort of similar.
Yeah,
you know,
but
like,
you got the you got the guy that you
got
Rob.
the guy with the hands,
Gronk.
and you got the guy.
Gronk.
And Gronk's pretty much a dying breed too. A guy that is an athletic freak that can catch the ball and do all this stuff, but still willing to put his hand in the dirt and block people in the run game. You know, now you've got all these prima donnas. You know, the Fleener kid who just signed the contract and runs his mouth on the way out of town in Indianapolis and badmashed his teammate. He don't want to block anybody, and he's not that great of a receiver. So it's the true tight end position as the old Sammy Coates and some of those guys did it. I mean, they're few and far between.
Is there anybody out there as versatile as you were right now?
Yeah, John Kuhn. John Kuhn's a guy in Green Bay that it's funny when they use him, he goes to the Pro Bowl and he balls, and their offense is a lot better. And he's getting up there in age. I think he's probably a decade now. But John was a guy that you could put at tailback, you could put at fullback, was very good on special teams, great hands out of the backfield. Any situation, you could put him in the backfield to block for Aaron Rodgers, and you'd protect him in passing downs. A very gifted player. Mike Robb, when he was with Seattle, and Mike got in 8 years in this league. A former quarterback at Penn State, I was a former tailback that got moved to fullback, and there's been some really good ones. But I try, there was that position is one that you just have to be versatile if you're going to make a roster this day and age.
When you were coming out of, let's talk about draft day. You were drafted third round.
Yeah.
What's that like for a young man with the draft as his future? Tell me what you were thinking and all that.
I wish I remembered it a little better. Everything just goes by so fast when you're young, and then I think for me, I kind of always had this knowing that I was gonna get there, and my agent was the best, a guy Pat Dye out of Atlanta, and everyone, people, when I came out, I was 250 and ran a 4.40, and oh, you're going to the first round, you're going to the top of the second round. He's like, Keith, listen, everyone sees you as a fullback. Quit, listen, you're not going in the first.
Because they just don't pick fullbacks.
You
in the first,
might
right?
go in the bottom of the second. That's going to be an absolute crazy scenario if it does. But fullback's first round is the third round. You're going to go in the top of the third round. It's going to be a team that loves you, and you're going to have a great career. He never lied to me. And so my draft day, a lot of guys were anxious, sitting around watching the phone, or, waiting for the phone to ring, watching the TV. I just kind of sat there and chilled with my family and hung out. And then when the third round got there, I started, I'm like, okay, who's it going to be? That sucky story goes like this. The phone rings. And New Orleans Saints, who are really close to Auburn, really close to Palm Beach, Florida, are on the clock. So I'm like, good, I'm going to New Orleans. Heath, this is Mike Holmgren. We're going to bring you to play for the Seahawks. I'm like, where's the Seahawks? Where's Seattle? You couldn't got any further away from Palm Beach, Florida.
It's impossible.
It's like from the tip to the tip. I'm like, doggone it. So I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, Mike. I'll see you in a couple weeks. No, I'm just playing. I was grateful. But that day was a peaceful, calm, rewarding day, and it was much more about, my high school coach was there, principal, mom and dad, so many friends and family, pastor friends that had played huge roles in my life getting me to that point.
But you end up teaming up with became your best friend, Sean?
Alexander,
was that kind of bizarre? Because
War Eagle, not Roll Tide, but yeah. Listen, Sean to this day is still my best friend.
Really?
Great man. People talk about his ability to score touchdowns, and listen, the guy his career was cut short because of a few nagging injuries, but truth is, I've never, and listen, LaDainians at our work, there's been so many greats, and it's hard to compare people, but inside that 20-yard line, there's no one that had the knack for the end zone like Sean Alexander. And great man, though. As great a ball player he was, great husband, great father, just a good all-around dude.
Now you are, it's your rookie year.
Yeah.
And Sean gets injured, the other guy gets injured, and week 9, are you like on the field playing hard?
It was spot duty all throughout my career at the tailback position. Everyone seemed to get beat up. And Seattle, it was few and far between when I would get an opportunity really to kind of show what I could do. They had an old school guy named Max Strong, was a 10-year NFL veteran, my rookie year at fullback, who was just bashing skulls, and that wasn't what I did. And then more when I got to New England, that's when my career really kind of started to pop and come alive.
And by the way, as a Miami Dolphin fan, we love trading good players to New England. Okay? This shit happens every damn year.
You know that story, right?
What?
So Nick Saban cuts me in the middle of 2005. I'm playing for the Dolphins. All right?
For
so
what?
I start the first 6 weeks at fullback for the Miami Dolphins. I left Seattle in free agency after the 2004 season. 2005, Nick Saban takes the Miami Dolphin job. Calls me, he's like, hey, we want you down here. It's going to be like college again. You're going to run and catch. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. Use all your talents and abilities. Sweet, sold. I'm going home to Miami, Florida, my hometown Dolphins team. Start for 6 weeks. I think I'm playing great ball. We get our grade sheets every week. The lowest grade I'd gotten was an 87, so a high B.
Right.
So we get little grade sheets. So one of those hurricanes in 2005 was getting ready to touch down and crush us all. And Nick has his pro player personnel guy call me. We're all sitting at home. Said, hey, we're going to make some changes. Can you come on in? I'm like, yeah, whatever. What time's practice tomorrow when the storm blows over? He's like, no, Heath, Nick wants to go with a couple, 2 tight end sets, and, Nick's going to call you in a minute. I'm like, what? So anyway, Nick calls me. He's like, hey, can you bring your playbook down? I'm like, I lived in Palm Beach and drove to Miami every day. So about an hour drive. I'm like, no, I'm not bringing my playbook. Can you just cut me? So I'm out in the garage fishing through all my grade sheets. I'm like, my lowest grade's an 87. Well, fast forward 2 weeks. The Patriots signed me. We go back down to Miami.
Yeah.
And
you had a good game.
I put up about a $1.20 all-purpose on him and won the game with a 2-point conversion to beat him at the end.
Dude.
I'm like, Nick, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll play for Bill Belichick for the next 4 years.
Come on, how awesome is that?
Yeah.
I'm telling
Sweet
you.
payback.
Not, by the way, not awesome.
I know. Yeah.
Well,
Fins fan.
Wes Welker,
let's talk Wes Welker.
Sammy Moore, like
Dude,
there's a
all
whole
of
bunch of
them.
guys.
Yeah.
We
here-
tried to get Zach Morris for years, but
Zach Thomas.
Zach
right?
Thomas,
Yeah,
excuse
I
me.
know.
Yeah. Okay, I want to let you know how many people can say, "Oh yeah, my first touchdown pass was from Tom Brady."
Yeah, right?
yeah.
You can say that.
It only took me 5 years to get one. Matt Hasselbeck and Trent Dilfer wouldn't throw me the ball.
I mean,
yeah.
Brady throws everybody the ball, man.
Hey, he'll spread it around.
Yeah.
does it ever get like that? Does it ever get clicky? Where in your mind you're going, "This quarterback may not like me."
No.
It doesn't ever get like that.
I mean, never for me. But
Yeah.
I've heard guys say it.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys, quarterbacks are all trying to do their job. Just a lot of them don't see the field well. So it's not like they don't want to throw it to the open guy. I mean, they all want to be Tom Brady, but they just don't see it like that. So, but Tom Brady's story, the most humble superstar you could ever meet. The people have their opinions about him because of the way the Patriots have handled their business for the last 15 years. But the truth is, you're never going to meet a more humble man. And he's got everything this world has to offer, and yet he would sit down here, and you guys would leave this room going like, that's the greatest human being I've ever met.
Wow.
And he would treat you guys like family, and it wouldn't be a facade.
That's awesome. Can't wait to have him on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
Yeah.
And you know something? If you guys are just tuning in, Heath Evans from the NFL. Now he's at the NFL Network.
I think we should take a break, but I do have a tease question if you don't.
I've got like 80 questions.
Oh,
but
you
go
got-
ahead. No.
You got a good teaser?
No. What's your tease?
All right, here's because we do need to take a break.
Okay.
You are our fourth NFL player on the show.
Okay.
Every one of them have told us about the moment where they realized they were in the Big Show.
Okay.
Do you remember that moment?
Big Show as in the Super Bowl, or big show as in like in
Just
the NFL?
in life.
Looking around,
Oh,
going,
absolutely.
"Holy shit!"
All right.
Absolutely. It's don't go anywhere. This is a good one. Yeah.
Hey, you guys, Chunky B. 1 degree of Chunky B in the garage of love. And you know if you want to get your quack on, you go to Venice Duck. And I'm not even kidding. This is a good beer. Tell your friends. Don't be afraid to get your quack on. Dude, this is actually a really good beer.
It's fucking great beer.
You're so lucky.
Oh shit! I'm still recording.
Hey, you guys, music provided by Play Up Music. That's playupmusic.com.
This is Heath Evans, 10-year NFL has-been, now NFL Network analyst, and you are tuned in to 1 degree of Chunky B.
Black is the night that holds you down. Black is the night that holds you down.
Okay, cool. You
Everyone's
guys
on their phone.
Hey, you guys,
Should I
we're
go?
back.
Andy, get your phone out.
Yeah, and the reason I'm on my phone is I want to show you guys
I'm
how
checking
real Heath Evans is.
I'm doing stuff.
Hey, check this out, you guys. This is us. I know we're going to talk about the NFL Network in a second. I know you can't see this. It's a little dark.
Oh, yeah. That's how we do it when I hide behind the desk.
Okay,
Ah,
he's
that's
sitting.
nice.
But here's, take a look at those shoes.
Nikes.
All right.
Nice.
This is what people are tuning in all around the world to the NFL Network, and people don't realize
He's
Heath
naked.
Evans is in a pair of shorts and the brightest red sneakers you can be, and just laying it out, laying it.
Tell me you're going commando back there.
Those cut-off sweats were Hurley, too.
Oh,
Oh, early, right on, right on. Okay, we were just talking about the tease. Your big moment where you just looked around, going, "Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am truly blessed."
Well, no. It wasn't a blessed moment. I was kind of like this on my back. And so what had happened was, you go back then, you go 3 days without pads. And so your first 3 days was just shorts and T-shirts, getting out there, run around. You feel like, hey, I can do this NFL thing.
Right.
Well, so my rookie year, our middle linebacker, I'm not sure if you've heard of the guy, but his name was Levon Kirkland with the Seattle Seahawks. Well, Levon in his prime was about 275, 280. I got to him at the end of his career where he was about 305, 310, sitting at middle linebacker. So we have this play called 42 ace draw. It is where the fullback literally, at the snap of the ball, raises up, step laterally to the right, pause to give all the defensive players time to run upfield and get closer to you, and then we take off full steam and try to go smack the Mike linebacker. Well, I'm 250. I'm a strong 250.
Yeah.
250 at full speed and 310 at full speed is no match for 310. Levon knew what he was doing. He had banged fullbacks for a decade plus at that time. Well, I don't ever remember seeing 99's jersey, but I just remember looking up and seeing this bright blue, beautiful sky there in Eastern Washington University going,
Wherever that was.
dear Lord, I'm in trouble, And I remember Chad Brown, who was the will linebacker at the time, who later humiliated me multiple times throughout that rookie camp, being like, hey, it never gets any harder than that. Get up. You're going to be all right.
Yeah, all right. You peaked.
Yeah, I mean, Levon hit me, and I was like, okay, I'm in the wrong
The first
wrong
time
position.
you ran out on the field and got in the game, what was that like?
So my rookie year, I mean, the first game was in Cleveland. I was on the kickoff team and the kickoff return.
You got in special years.
Yeah, so I mean, I was on. I never had that bright moment that day. I was always kind of I almost feel bad that I didn't enjoy some of the moments more. I was always so ultra focused on not screwing up
and just getting your job done. You were just concentrating on getting your work done.
But that stadium in Seattle is
so loud and shit.
Right? So my rookie year, we actually played in UW Stadium because they were building what was Quest and now is whatever field it is now.
Chunky Field.
Yeah, Chunky. That's what it was. Chunky Campbell Soup
Isn't that
Field.
what it is? Yeah.
But that UW Stadium was loud too, and you had that wind coming off of Lake Washington and everything else. But no, years 2, 3, and 4 in Seattle, that stadium it's always been brutal for opposing teams.
Yeah. Could you stay warm in a game? Like you think
yeah.
about you. There's always, because when you're looking on television and it just looks brutally freezing.
We've got it better than the fans. The wind is one thing. Now, so like, I was old school. I didn't ever, I knew I might only carry the ball twice a game, but I didn't want a sleeve on my arm because when the sleeve's there, you can't feel the ball. And then when it's cold, the ball is hard and cold itself, and it's even more slippery. So I never wore sleeves. So when that wind would kick up, that was a brutal part. But on the sidelines, we've got those.
Did you wear gloves?
Yeah, I wore gloves.
How many times did your elbows get bloody in your lifetime?
It's funny. Less when we play on the turf or when we play out in Oakland or when you play on those baseball fields, awful. I mean, that stuff should have been outlawed forever ago. And for the most part, it is. I know Oakland still has theirs, but we'll see what happens. But that stuff, I mean, you'd get those baseball burns. And they wouldn't heal for 6 weeks. Yeah. And you're constantly having to clean them and everything else. But the worst part was just getting helmets banged because your elbows swole and they swell up in such a way. Then you got to wear compression sleeves to get them to push back down. And by the end of the season, your elbows are like, I mean, you just don't even want to pick up the babies.
Yeah. What's your concern about the concussions in the NFL and what's happening now?
I don't have one. And I know that sounds callous, so everyone at home watching, it's not a lack of concern for people that are having issues. But the facts are this. The facts are we don't know pre-consisting, issues or things that lie in someone's genetic code that spur on whatever it may be. Our numbers in the NFL for early onset dementia, Alzheimer, depression, suicide, alcoholism, domestic abuse, all our numbers for the male population of the NFL, current and former, are far greater than the average male population in the same age range that have never played in the NFL. So until our numbers say, this sport, our numbers are far better. So if you have a concussion, you're going to have Alzheimer's, or you're going to have dementia, or you're going to have depression, you're going to have this, and that. Until the numbers support it, I'm not a believer. Now, are concussions a good thing? Absolutely not. But if kids all over the country have them every day when they get dropped off a bed or whatever, I do believe our main issues are a couple things. Our food and water is garbage. Kids aren't eating the way we all ate when we grew up. A, because there wasn't all the antibiotics and everything stuffed in our food when we were growing up. But B, kids are lazy. And so it's McDonald's, it's Taco Bell, it's Gatorade, it's Coke. Right. And I would never touch any of those things during the football season. I'd have a Coke here and there because every kid does. But there was like this mental process in me that's like, you take care of this body. The generation that's coming to the game now, our equipment is so much better than what it once was. I just don't think people actually rest and take care of their body. I've taken also a lot of heat for saying these guys that, yes, bend the rules and smoke, drink, and do all this other stuff. So I'm going out and pounding my head for 60 minutes every Sunday, and then I'm going drinking Sunday night instead of going home with my family and going to sleep by 11, and then getting up the next morning, getting in the sweat box and getting a massage and taking care of myself like I did. So what's the longevity or what's the effect of I damage the brain in a game, and then I don't let it rest for the next 2 or 3 days when we should be, but I'm out drinking and smoking and partying and doing everything else. So, I've said very loudly, I've taken on Roger Goodell in a lot of ways. But with the concussion lawsuit, the league did the PA a favor. Because if the league wanted to take that to court and be jerks, the PA wouldn't have gotten a red cent out of the league. Because every former player would have had to answer every question about, okay, what was your recreational drug life? What was your recreational drinking life? Your resting, your family's history. Do you have an aunt or uncle with depression? Do you have an aunt or uncle or a mom or dad with depression? Like all these different things. The league was like, hey, we want to do the right thing. The people that need help, we want to help. And they've set up an awesome thing. So it's sad that the media and that stupid movie that Will Smith, I loved you until you did that. Now I'm going to have to hit you when I see you. It fuels a fire that A, is not factual, and B, there's nothing out there that really supports it. And that's just the truth. And people want to challenge me all the time. And I'm like, challenge me. Show me the numbers. Show me the facts. I don't want to see some story on Time Magazine or some article wrote by someone with SI or some Fox reporter that's a liberal agenda-minded person, whatever it is. Show me the facts.
So you're saying Earl Campbell would be exactly the way he is had he never played football?
No. But if you see Earl walk, Earl, is a great human being. But if you see Earl, like, the way he ran the ball, like, Earl was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Earl needed pads like we have now to deflect the blows that he was dishing out. Anyone will tell you the biggest blows that hurt you the most are the biggest hits that you lay out.
You do.
The blocks that I would just devastate someone. Oh, gosh. You wouldn't show it because that dude on films was like laying like a dead cockroach and you're acting like a tough guy.
Right.
The ones where Zach Thomas in 06 waylaid me coming across the middle for this first down catch, I popped up faster than him. I got up, was like, get hit. And as soon as I hit him on the back of the head, he was like, because he had a stinger in his neck. Yeah. And he waylaid me.
Yeah.
So you look at the way Earl ran, like, we can't track it back to, okay, how many concussions did Earl have? Mm-hmm. It's more of, golly, that freight train hurt a lot of grown men and hurt himself in the process.
Right. Here's what I think, whether you believe the concussion thing or not. If you play football in the NFL, you understand there are certain risks involved in that.
Yeah. I think that goes with any job.
You're going to get paid a lot of money to do it, and you can either say yes to that or no to that.
Right. And that's your grown man choice. Right. And we all have it. But I would say this, especially for the parents listening, don't let your kid, sit and not play football till they're 14 because speed is what causes injuries. So when you're 4, you're running into each other like pillows. It's like this. No one's getting hurt. Right. And when you're 6, it's like this. And when you're 8, it's like this. And when you're 10, it's like this. And your body, the natural process of evolution for the body, it's like lifting weights. The first time you do it, you shred your muscles. You're sore. You've got, pockets of blood you got to get massaged out. 3 weeks later, you do the same exact thing, even more intense. You're not sore at all. That same thing for the brain, boxers and wrestlers and everyone else. Like, you have to condition your body to handle this. And so the thought process is, let's let their bodies get more mature. Well, no, at 14, there's some kids out there running legitimate 4.9, 5.0 40s, big kids. Right. Those, if your body hasn't been conditioned to that, you're setting your kid up for far greater failure. Same thing with basketball on their knees, baseball on their elbows and shoulders. Yeah. If it hasn't been this war of attrition that builds up the standard that their body can accept and hold, you're failing your kids. So, and I'm biased about football, but football teaches you something that no other sport can teach you. There is a team atmosphere in any business in this podcast. There's 3 guys that come together every week. You guys can't do crap without him. He can't do anything without the talent.
I got you.
The voice. So like in a team element, basketball, there's 5. Football, there's 11. And in football, if I mess up, you're getting jacked up. So there's this level of accountability that transforms families, transforms businesses, transforms communities. And the toughness factor for a kid to feel physical pain and then have to make the conscious choice of, am I going to quit or am I going to get up and keep going? We've all been in emotionally tough, straining situations here, right? That, just rip your heart out at the core. and you've had to make a decision as a man. Am I going to get up and keep going, or I'm going to lay down and whine and gripe and sulk? Football does something for a young man, no matter how talented they are, that it teaches them life lessons that I just think are invaluable. And that's why I'm most passionate about a lot of the unfactual concussion talks, is because it's restricting a generation that's grown up without a lot of real men. It's restricting even more so those young men from getting life lessons that I know our game will teach them. And great coaches that really do love these young men, that'll pour into their lives, young men that are raised by a single mom that are now scared to let their son play football, and maybe that coach was going to be the one father figure in their life that really dove into them and helped them become the next politician or the next governor or the next doctor or the next teacher that really changes the world. And that's the domino effect of all the BS that's out there concerning concussions is what angers me the most. There's always, the money that our game offers you, the fame and fortune, everyone's going to still sign up to play. But there are enough kids that now we're losing numbers, and these kids are losing life lesson opportunities to have a father figure, to be taught things that I don't believe any other game can teach you.
Why are you not on the sideline coaching?
Because of Ava and Naomi.
Just to be, you can't fit it in your schedule.
That is it's a choice that I made years ago. I mean, even when I went to the pros in college, like literally on Friday and Saturday nights in the off season, I'd be in Gold's Gym in Auburn, Alabama. I wasn't out partying with the guys. I sacrificed everything for this game. And when I got married, I made the conscious decision that, football was going to be number 2 in my life, and my wife was going to be number 1. When I had these girls, it was, hey, listen, football's got to move, because football's going to come and go. The fame and fortune is going to come and go. And Ava will tell you, I'm a flawed father. I'm constantly apologizing to my daughters for short temper, gruff, trying to rearrange rules that better fit our family. Like, there is no perfect recipe. But I'm not coaching because if you're going to do it right, it's a time commitment that you can't be the father you need to be. Right. And that's not – I have so much great respect for Sean Payton, Bill Belichick, Mike Holmgren, so many great coaches that loved me and poured into me. But their family sacrificed. And I'm just not willing to do that.
Well, how about this? Let me set the seed right now. How about doing a little volunteer work, show up at the Palisades, and work out with some kids outdoors?
I'll do it for free.
Are you serious?
If those kids will work, my one rule is don't waste my time. Right. Because Ava and Naomi will be there giving them oranges and water and bananas and everything. But if you quit, you're not allowed to come back. I've never charged a kid to train them. And I've had a couple kids in the NFL now, 5 that have hit D1 scholarships that I know for a fact wouldn't have gotten there without me. I invest in people all over the place, and I love it. You just can't quit. If you quit, I don't play baseball, so I don't believe in a 3-strike rule. Right. You quit once, bye-bye.
Okay, so we've got it right here on the podcast, everybody.
I'm not running from anything. Ask Ava. She's seen me, these boys in and out. I feed them. I've done everything.
I think, even if you just showed up at the field at Pally High and just talking motivational and just, visit once a week or something, come down there.
Well, that's in the Palisades. A speech is going to cost them $5,000. They got some rich people up there. I'm just like, I'll train the kids for free, but if I got to talk to the parents,
that is such the truth.
We lived in the Palisades for 3 years, so
all right,
you got to pay me to talk to the parents.
Hey, why don't we just totally change the subject? Coming out of left field, what's going on with your love at one point with Dunkin' Donuts?
Oh my gosh, Double D. I mean, I have the T-shirt. Yeah, what Ava? What'd you say, baby?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got one right down the street.
Listen, that 37 I did on the bench press a couple weeks ago, half of that was because of the donut power in my gut. The fat makes me stronger.
You know something? Before we talk about Dunkin' Donuts, okay, the Combine just happened.
Yeah.
You know that the gentleman at this table right here in the Garage of Love, Heath Evans, is actually a better athlete than these kids coming in the Combine.
Well, I'm stronger than. I don't know about a better athlete at this point, but
okay,
we'll see.
You did more reps on the bench press.
Yep.
You crushed them.
Yeah.
And you did 37.
I did 37. The best fullback, I think, was 31.
But what was the weight?
Overall
coming out of
34.
college?
No, I did this a couple weeks, 2 weeks
No,
ago.
I mean the best fullbacks coming out of college.
Yeah, wow. 31. Yeah, it was 225 pounds for a rep test.
225 pounds, and you did it 37.
Well, no, Chunk, it's not like this. It's like this. He's like 225 pounds.
No, this is the pom poms. I was cheering you on.
I mean, I only got to 29.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
And then you're 40.
No, wait, how old am I?
No.
I'm 37, Chunky.
No, you did the 40.
Oh yeah, no, I ran the 40. That number, like I said, it was 4.82 on concrete and dress shorts.
Okay.
So
now, what is Eisen's time?
He broke 6-0 this year. I think he got like a 5.98 or something like that.
That's great. He made it into a great fundraising
Absolutely.
charity
St.
event.
Jude gets a lot of the credit for that. They raise money for those kids. It's an awesome deal that Rich does.
No, you've been tied in the past. Are you still tied into a foundation of some sort?
I had my own for years. The one that we actively currently push people towards is the A21 campaign. And folks at home, listen, it's one of those subject matters that nobody wants to talk about, but the sexual slave trade is a real deal. And it's going on all over the world, here in L.A., in your hometown, wherever you're watching. I promise you there's an active case being pursued right now for someone who has been sold into sexual slavery. The A21 campaign is just go to a21.org. They are rescuing boys and girls, men and women from all over the world. And they're just doing an awesome job. And your money's going to a great spot. And you get on their website, follow them on Instagram, Twitter, every single day. They're giving you stories about some girl or some guy or some young boy that's been captured and brought back home to their family, that was yanked away and sold into the worst of sexual conditions you can ever possibly imagine. And they're one of the few charities out there that they open their books, their track record's clean, and they're just getting it done.
American Badass with an awesome soul.
Yeah.
God damn. How many times have I gotten goosebumps on this interview?
Right.
You're an awesome individual. Let's get back to Dunkin' Donuts.
Absolutely.
What was your-
Where are the donuts? I thought that was part of the deal, Chunky.
What's your favorite? You like an old-fashioned glaze like myself?
No, Ava, what's my favorite?
There's so many. She just said so many.
Oh my gosh, she froze in the moment. The blueberries become my set. The blueberry cake.
Right.
But what's the one that looks like the figure 8? The bow tie.
Oh, the bow tie.
No, literally. I go in there, and the one on Santa Monica on Wilshire now, they like know me by name, which is sad. And it's not from TV. It's because I'm the donut guy. And I go in there, and they're like, "Hey, bow tie with the most icing coming right up." I literally make them like fumble through all the bow ties to find the one with
That
the
is
most
crazy.
glazed icing on it.
That is
So,
crazy.
they're good people though.
But back in college, or you wanted to move them down south?
Yeah, so
whatever happened?
Well, so Dunkin' Brands, who is the parent company that owns Dunkin' Donuts, is based there in Boston. So when I got to New England and started to kind of see Mr. Kraft and all his different business dealings and everything else, I just certain things I would ask him if I could somewhat tag along and just wanted to learn from him. And Dunkin' Brands was one of their big partners. And so I just asked him at the time, "Hey, will you make a connection for me? Because I know, listen, there's a bunch of fat, ugly people in Alabama, and they would love some donuts and coffee, you know." And so, I mean, yeah, my poor daughter's got to go there in a couple weeks. But anyway, the truth is like I just thought, man, the coffee is like the world's best. You know, the donuts are always fresh, they're good. I mean, the price point, I mean, you can't beat it. You go into Starbucks, you're paying $5 for a cup of coffee.
Right.
People in the South aren't messing with that stuff. And so, long story short, Mr. Kraft connected me with the higher ups in Dunkin' Brands, and they explained their thought process for the community. And they were about 5 years ahead of the schedule where they thought, because they wanted basically 60 stores in the greater Birmingham market. Listen, I didn't make Tom Brady money. I was fullback money. So I just didn't have the wherewithal to be able to pull it off. But I went down that road for a long, long time. And, I just thought the saturated market, 60 in that market, I didn't think it would hold it, and they still don't have anywhere close to 60, and this was 10 years removed.
Right.
But Dunkin' Brands is a great company, and I did a lot of public speaking for them, a lot of motivational stuff for their company. Thanks to Mr. Kraft, helped me make some off-the-field money with them. But great company and great donuts. I need to avoid them more than I do. But
we got one right down the street. It just opened.
I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's talk about that. Last year, you got injured. With the Saints.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you, as a strong family man with the scruples that you were raised with and continue to carry, was it tough living in a city which care for God, as a Christian, as a?
I think there's so many misconceptions about that city. I think it's a very faith-filled city in a lot of ways. It gets a bad rap for a few square blocks that are the devil's playground.
Right.
But some of the warmest people I ever met, way before I ever stepped on a field there or became, a dominant player for their Super Bowl team before I blew my knee out. I mean, the way they loved on my girls, the way our community just kind of wrapped their arms around our charity focus, the way they supported a subject matter of sexual abuse with full passion and didn't shy away from it, and just I mean, our whole community. I mean, we did events there. People we've never seen community events thrown like this. They were people that had been inspired by great loss, and then they wanted to go take their great loss and inspire others.
Right.
And that city has a special place in my heart. I'd move back there in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But again, like there's a part of every city. I mean, LA, and we see the beauty and the awesomeness that God created out here. But yeah, there's some parts of this city that we wouldn't want our kids in. We don't want to drive through. We don't want to be a part of. And I think that's every city. But all in all, there's just a special place in my heart for that city, and even my family's heart.
You know, Chunky's the mayor of New Orleans, right?
I go back there. I got some friends there.
Oh my
love the
goodness!
place.
You have no idea when this guy walks through town.
Hey, well, when you go,
Seriously.
there's a good Dunkin' Donuts there too. They know me by name there too.
Give me a couple bow ties.
right there in Metairie. Oh,
Okay, so you got a ring.
yeah.
That was a special moment in your life.
Yep.
Where do you
did-
keep it?
Yeah.
Well, Chunky's getting ready to get goosebumps again. I gave it away.
Did you really?
So again, when
Look at Ava's like, God.
yeah, I know a bunch of people wanted it. True story is like these things sit in safe deposit boxes and collect dust, and I don't even have any of my touchdown balls left, gloves, jersey. I give all this stuff away because there's a lot of kids that I felt like maybe this kid will be the next Tom Brady or maybe the next Heath Evans or that just needed to be inspired. And so all that stuff I always gave away and would sign it and just be done with it. Well, with the ring, it was just one of the things I just felt wasted. I knew that there was a lot of money to be made for charity if we were to raffle it off. I did multiple raffles, throughout the course of my career. During the Super Bowl year, Drew Brees and we raised, $609,000 in 3 days doing a Super Bowl raffle. And we gave it all to charity. 300 plus went to Drew's charity, cancer research, children's hospitals, a lot of different awesome stuff that Drew's involved with. And then 300 plus went to fight sexual abuse. And it went to inspire young boys and girls that had been ravaged and that needed hope and healing. And so we put the money into offering them professional counseling and care that otherwise they wouldn't have to heal from their emotional wounds from some sick abusers. And so with my Super Bowl ring, I wanted to do the same thing. And I just knew that despite New Orleans fan base being a big fan base, that if we put up a Super Bowl ring for auction, or not auction, raffle, where everyone could just pay $2, a whole bunch of people would buy a whole buttload of tickets. And so we were able to raise a couple $100,000 and give the ring away and hopefully give some people hope and healing.
Yes.
And, yeah. So, yeah. But
What'd you do with your Super Bowl ring, Andy?
I still have it.
Yeah.
I gave it to my daughter.
But
Andy tried to make me look bad. What a jerk.
But you know what I love? You put it on a raffle, so everyone gets a square shot. at it.
Yeah. For $2,
that's
you
smart
get a
thing.
shot
I
at
mean,
it, right?
Yeah.
Listen, you don't want some auction and some multimillionaire, stroking you a check for $250. It doesn't, because you don't get the publicity for the cause.
Right.
And then, Joe Schmo in, Kansas, who's not a Saints fan but might have a passion for my same charitable causes, gets an opportunity to win something. And a guy in Seattle, Washington won it who was a huge Hawks fan, and he was just love it. Just couldn't be more
Awesome.
grateful.
Awesome.
So-
Now you announced your retirement on Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, next question. Listen, I was a 10-year fullback, 10 years, but
That's
I wasn't a big name. I always listen. I think the best thing, I always know who and what I am.
Right. Right.
And so it was just like, hey guys, thanks for the love. I'm done. Peace.
Okay.
It wasn't like some big thing, and you don't even really go through the official retirement stuff anymore unless you're like our guys of the network and you're Willie McGinnis and Marshall Faulk and those guys.
Well, how did you go so fast from retiring from football and going to the NFL Network as an analyst? Or
A big mouth. I mean,
did you know you were going to do that?
Listen, again, I'm a realist. I always thought that people, every time I do interviews, people are like, oh, you're going to walk right into the broadcast and blah. But I looked around. There's not small names. 10 years, I get it, but they're all big names. I mean, you look at CBS, look at Fox, look at NBC, you look at our network. I mean, it's Deion Sanders and Marshall Faulk and Michael Irvin and Kurt Warner, Willie McGinnis. The list goes on and on and on and on.
It did take Dion like 15 years to figure out how to say a sentence properly, though, right? Am I right?
No, he's a smart
Come
man.
on, man. That guy was rough. Did you see him at the Miss Universe, Miss America? That was rough.
Don't be dogging our man.
Dude, that's my guy, okay? I'm an FSU alum. I watched that boy play.
I was going to ask him to come in now, but it's a
Ah.
no-brainer. He won't do it
Making
now.
friends over here, Gary.
Unbelievable.
Now, Miss North Carolina. Let me ask you a question.
Oh, man.
Yeah, look, see, you know what? This is why I get beat up on the streets. Hey, yeah. But I got to tell you, which a lot of people don't know because they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. When you are coming in with brand new information, something breaks, whatever. Peyton, we all knew he was going to, make his announcement, but we blew up at the NFL Network, and there was so much stuff going on. How do you maintain a level of calmness? Because a lesser man would crumble because you've got the James Bond earpiece in, with producers chewing on you. You got us on the stage. You got cameras moving, lights going on. It's chaotic.
You know what you know. I mean, you operate that camera with the best of them. There's not much that shakes you. Like, and for me, my theory is like from day one, it's like, how did you get so good at this so fast? I'm like, it's not that I'm good. It's just I don't have Tom Brady or Drew Brees getting ready to get hit if I mess up. Bill Belichick is not waiting on that sideline to mother F me to all high heavens if I screw up. Like, no one's getting hurt. Like, in our business, like, when you screw up, most times someone gets hurt. And not hurt like they blow a knee out, but someone's getting hit in the mouth.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, like, the worst thing that's going to happen to me is I'm going to stumble over a T or I'm going to mess up a word or someone's name.
Right.
No one's getting hurt.
That's not
and,
so
like,
bad.
people are like, oh, but millions of people are watching. I'm like, millions of people watch those Super Bowls, too.
Yeah.
And if I drop the ball, I'm going to sit on the bench for the rest of the game. Like, that's pressure.
That's pressure.
So, like, and with the Peyton Manning stuff or just even like our Sunday show where, we've got 11, 12 games going at once and we're keeping up all of them. I just watch tape. And I people study stats and they want to memorize all the stuff. People can go get on Google at home and look up stats. You're never going to see me feed people stats because I want to give them something from my 10 years.
Yeah.
My time with Bill Belichick and Mike Holmgren and Ricky Waters and John Randall, some of the greats to ever play our game. What do I know based on those guys? Because that's stuff that they can't find on Google.
Right. Is that what the pinpoint of your life is? There is no pressure because you played for Bill. Is that like, hey, dude, I played for Bill? I'm like,
Bill's a cupcake. I mean, pressure's raising these girls. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, how do I do this? I mean, it's no, but like, I think just the natural stepping stones of going from, just being raised by my pops and then feeling those moments of pressure throughout. And even just the struggle to get through high school. I mean, I was the poster child for ADD, ADHD before it ever came out.
Really?
And so, my mom and dad, we would cram every night. I mean, 4 and 5 hours of study, and I'd go into class and fail stuff. And they were so frustrated with me. And then finally, after my sophomore year, I got tested and was able to get on Ritalin for the first time, and then school became easy, And so all those different, like, levels of stress and pressure, I just think, now TV, it's like there's just nothing stressful about it. Like, I watch game tape.
Yeah.
My opinions aren't always right. And the good thing about me is I'm very bold with my opinions, but I'm the first one to say I was wrong. Broncos, I thought you'd go to the first round of the playoffs and depending on your matchup, get knocked out.
Yeah.
I was wrong. Can't help it.
Right.
And so, listen, everyone's playing this guessing game. It's based on our knowledge and experience. And so I got the job because I'm bold and opinionated. And if you guys listen to people, most people never give an answer. I always give an answer. And you always know right where I lie.
Right on.
And it served me well.
Hey, do you think there's too many? When I went to I went to a football game in Miami over the break, the Christmas break, and I hadn't
What a waste
been.
of money.
I literally, all the siblings went.
Yeah, it
And
was a
we
family
haven't been
reunion.
in years, and I gotta say, man, like there's so many breaks in the game live.
Yeah.
Like you feel that on the field.
What are you thinking? Time out.
Sorry.
Mommy said to hurry up.
Mommy emergency. No,
Okay.
Listen, I can multitask. Keep asking your question about
So the
your waist.
question is,
Yeah.
are there too many commercial breaks in live football? To enjoy, I didn't even enjoy the game because there was too many breaks.
Yeah.
Listen, for the fat, out-of-shape linemen, they love those TV breaks. So listen, now you're not getting Deion Sanders on the show, and you're not getting Sean O'Hara. You're not getting any of the other, all the guys
Damn
he
it.
works with. I mean, you just screwed up all that stuff.
Sorry, Chunk.
Listen, it's funny. They get them in those 3-hour windows,
Yeah.
and that's the TV, the way they've got it slotted. It's to maximize the dollar of the fan, but then also the viewership at home. You know, and that's the stuff that's important. You know.
Do you think there could be a resurgence in rugby? Like there sort of feels like it's starting to happen because it's more of a raw, continuing sport version of football. There's not as many breaks and there's just as many hits.
It's a brutal game. I mean, I don't know. I've never thought about it that way. I mean, honestly, I was texting and didn't hear your question.
Multitasking. It's about the rugby. You think there's going to be a growth of rugby? You think
That's why I didn't hear it. That word doesn't even. I don't. Not in our.
Our lifetime?
Yeah, not in our lifetime. I mean, well, I don't. I mean,
I think in the
not
next
here
5 years you're going to see a
in the States.
huge interest in rugby in this country.
Do you really? What do you think that?
Well, because it's a continual sport. Okay,
Right.
they're not taking a break every 10 seconds, and it's just as many hits in football. So it's kind of like kill the guy with the ball without the commercial breaks.
Okay, so in 5 years from now, when we're in the Garage of Love, and Heath comes back, and we're going to say, what happened to your rugby?
No, I'm not going to say it's ever going to overtake football because football is an American institution and it always will be.
Right.
But I feel like because of the amount of commercial breaks that happen in modern day football,
Right.
He's crazy.
a sport like rugby will start to get interest.
I probably need to hop off. I've got something.
Awesome.
I
Okay.
got to
good.
deal
Yep.
with.
Hey, listen, guys.
Hey, I love it. Can I come back and then I'll make it up for this
Absolutely.
short brief segment? I swear I'll come back.
No, it wasn't even brief. It was longer than the first one.
It was
Okay,
perfect.
good,
Yeah.
good.
Ladies and gentlemen, American hero, American
know about
badass, Heath Evans from the NFL. Wait a second. Tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, Twitter. Give him
yeah.
Instagrams.
At Heath Evans 44, Twitter at Heath Evans 44, Instagram and Snapchat, but I'm no good at Snapchat, so it's all there at Heath Evans 44.
Heath Evans, everybody.
Look him up, people.
Oh, that's awesome.
We'll see you next time.
Perfect.
What's up, North Carolina?
Yeah, you're right.